Students, I hope that everything is well and good, and also believe that you guys are studying and doing the assignments. Today we see the last portion of the first lesson towards independence and partition, the last phase. And now let us start the class. We have already seen about this Wavell plan, which was brought by Viceroy Wavell, and also the cabinet mission plan for the interim government and all the other ideas that they brought it. But all the things during this time, the Muslim League started a direct action, or we can speak in another way, the direct action day for the realization of their desired goal of Pakistan. Now let us see what is the direct action by the Muslim League. There developed a crisis when an election to the Constituent Assembly held in July 1946. Congress won in an overwhelming majority. Jinnah became alarmed and called this a brute majority of the Congress. He apprehended that the transfer of power would be made only with the Congress or the Hindus who enjoy the confidence of the majority of the people. When the Viceroy Wavell started discussion with Jawaharlal Nehru for the formation of the interim government, Jinnah refused to join the interim government. The Muslim League then passed a resolution to withdraw its acceptance of the cabinet mission plan. We can see that in the beginning they already accepted the cabinet mission plan, but later they refused or withdraw its acceptance. Muslim League then incited the Muslims to direct action to secure their rights. They started the direct action to secure their rights. The direct action of the Muslim League was not directed against the British government but against the possible Hindu domination. That was one of the misunderstanding between the Indian people, especially Muslim League, led by the communal leaders. What they did it, the direct action of the Muslim League was not directed against the British government, but it was against the possible Hindu domination. So, Muslim League decided to observe 16th August 1946 as the direct action day for the realization of their desired goal of Pakistan. That means they decided to select the date as the 16th August 1946 as the direct action day for achieving their desired goal of Pakistan. Which date? It is the 16th August 1946. Liaquat Ali Khan, the then General Secretary of the All India Muslim League, explained the meaning of direct action and said, direct action means resorting to non-constitutional methods and then can take any form and whatever form may suit the conditions under which we live. In an interview with the United Press, Nizamuddin, the League leader, was asked to clarify the implication of direct action day. He explained, the Muslim population of Bengal know very well what direct action would mean, and so we need not bother to give them any lead. The real spirit of the direct action was expressed by Jinnah himself after the resolution was passed by the League Council. Jinnah said, but now we are obliged and forced into this position. This day we bid goodbye to the constitutional methods. See, here we are realizing that already we have seen that the Muslim League was not against the British government but possible Hindu domination or Hindu Rashtra. So therefore they selected the day of their direct action day on 16th August 1946. Even the General Secretary of the All India Muslim League also explained for a direct action that they are demanding or resorting for non-constitutional methods and they can take any form. That means it is a challenge to the existing interim government or the would be the interim government which was proposed by the cabinet mission or the Wavell government as well as against the ruling of Congress. And also it was also a challenge to the unity of India, because communalism is already gradually crept or pierced into it. That's why they demanded that it will be a non-constitutional method, and the people or the Muslims followers can take any form, whatever they prefer. Even it was also can be seen, the reflection can be seen in the words of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that they are obliged and forced to their position by leaving the constitutional method. Therefore, they are ready for any method to achieve their goal of Pakistan. We can see that the direct action led the communal rights in different parts of the country. The direct action day was followed by the slogan, "We shall have Pakistan by force." The day passed off without much untoward incident in the most part of the country, except in Calcutta, where trouble started. We have already seen that the communal rights were started in the different parts of the country due to the direct action day, because they have started a slogan that we shall have Pakistan by force. It was been most of the area which has started in Calcutta, even though in the beginning stage it does not have any adverse effect or adverse incident. The Muslim League government of Bengal was led by under Hussain Shahid Suhrawardi, but in the beginning the state was very slow. The Muslim League government of Bengal under Suhrawardi moved in a sluggish way, and in meantime huge population of both Hindus and Muslims were killed. Starting from Calcutta, communal rights touched Bombay, spread to Noakhali in East Bengal, Bihar, Garmukteshwar in United Provinces, and finally reached to Punjab in March 1947 onwards. That means gradually this movement or the communal rights began to be spread far and wide over the different parts of the country. Let us see the formation of the interim government. After the refusal of the Muslim League to join the interim government, Viceroy Wavell invited Jawaharlal Nehru and his other members to swear as the members of the Viceroy Executive Council on 2nd September 1946. Jawaharlal Nehru then offered Muslim League 5 seats out of 14 in the interim government. This negotiation ultimately broke down. Jinnah did not agree to the appointment of a non-League Muslim in the interim government, even out of the Congress quota. Muslim League then observed 2nd September as the day of mourning. The Muslims were directed to display black flags all over the country. That means even though in the initial stage Muslim League refused to join the interim government, Viceroy Wavell invited Jawaharlal Nehru and his team or the members to swear in the member of the Viceroy Executive Council. Even in the level, Nehru offered Muslim League 5 seats out of their quota, that is all the Congress term or the Congress seats. There also Muslim League refused and observed 2nd September as the day of mourning, and also advised or directed the Muslim League followers to display black flags all over the country. Though Jinnah refused to join the Executive Council, Viceroy Wavell was ultimately successful in persuading Muslim League to join the interim government. But this entry did not end the conflict. Muslim League members followed a policy of non-cooperation both inside and outside the government. Frustrated, Jawaharlal Nehru once remarked that the interim government had become an arena of struggle. In the All India Congress Committee or AICC meeting on 14th June 1947, Sardar Patel also remarked that Pakistan was actually functioning not only in Punjab and Bengal but also in the interim government. Congress then sent a letter to the Viceroy Wavell and demanded that the League members should be asked to resign. We can also understand now, even though in the beginning, in the initial stage, Muslim League was not ready to join the interim government. Finally, Viceroy Wavell could successful persuading the Muslim League to join the interim government. Even though they joined it, it was really a problem for the council members to rule it or to work, because the Muslim League members were not cooperating with the Congress team, neither inside or outside the government. So the people are being completely become annoyed and frustrated. And finally, they presented in the meeting that the things are not been working well, and actually they formed the Pakistan. The dream was been coming true. Already they have been functioning in the namesake in the Punjab and Bengal, as well as in the interim, and that was the comment of Sardar Patel. And therefore, they written a letter to Viceroy Wavell that demanding the League members to resign from their post. The interim government was not a success because the non-cooperation of the Muslim League. Because already there the problems are being there in the government as well as outside because of the communal rights. The situation changed. The British Prime Minister Attlee announced the British Parliament that the government would transfer the power to Indians. That was one of the greatest steps taken by the British Prime Minister Attlee. Let us see the Attlee's declaration of 20th February. The interim government was not functioning well due to non-cooperation of the Muslim League. The country was passing through communal rights at different places. The situation suddenly changed when the British Prime Minister Attlee announced in the British Parliament on 20th February 1947 that the government would transfer power to the Indians not later than June 1948. Lord Mountbatten now came to India to take charge as Viceroy and Governor General from Lord Wavell. That means it was one of the hilarious announcement from for the Indians from the side of the British Prime Minister Attlee that the Parliament decided that it is transferring the power to Indians not later than June 1948. So there's another Viceroy or a Governor General to India in the place of Lord Wavell, that was Lord Mountbatten. We can see the new Viceroy as the Governor General, Lord Mountbatten, came and took the in charge in 1947, and he started discussing with both the leaders, the leaders of the Congress, especially Jawaharlal Nehru and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the leader of Muslim League, for the formation of the government. And also finally it was decided that India would be partitioned along with a new state known as Pakistan would be creating. So it was one of the steps taken by Mountbatten, because they already understood that it is to work with the Muslim League teams to be very, very tough. Let us see the Mountbatten plan. Lord Mountbatten took charge in March 1947. He now started discussion with the leaders of Congress and the Muslim League for transfer of power. Finally, it was decided that India would be partitioned. A new state of Pakistan would be created along with the free India. The main provisions of the plan were as follows. Features of Mountbatten plan. India would be partitioned and a new state of Pakistan would be created along with the free India. Pakistan would be formed with the Muslim majority provinces of Sindh, Balochistan, Northwest Frontier, West Punjab and East Bengal, provided the legislative assemblies of Bengal and Punjab would decide in favor of Pakistan. Third one, Indian Dominion would be formed with the rest of the British India, East Punjab and West Bengal. In case of partition of Punjab and Bengal, the boundary commission would be formed to demarcate the exact boundary line between India and Pakistan. Opinion poll would be conducted in Northwest Frontier province and Sylhet district of Assam to decide whether the people would join India or Pakistan. The native states were given the opinion of joining either the new state or the Pakistan or old state of India or would remain independent. The Legislative Assembly of Sindh would take its own decision whether it would be join India or Pakistan. The plan also declared that transfer of power would take place much earlier than June 1948. The British Parliament would pass an act of transfer of power in India before 15th August 1947. So these are the Mountbatten plan. First of all, they decided to divide India or partition India with a new state, new country or new state known as Pakistan. And also they decided which states will be joining with Pakistan. And also Indian Dominion. Also they decided which states will be joining with. And also they decided in the case of partition of the Bengal and Punjab would be happen, there will be boundary commission would be the info what it is would be forming to demarcate or decide the boundary between these two. Opinion of the poll would be conducted with the Northwest Frontier and Sylhet district of Assam to decide by the people which side they have to join, whether it is India or Pakistan. Even the same thing was given for the opinion for the native state. They are allowed to stay either to the new state of Pakistan or the old state of India, or they are allowed to remain independent. Even the Legislative Assembly of Sindh would also take its own decision whether they want to join India or Pakistan. Even when these things are being coming, it's an understanding between two leaders and the Indian majority people. So the British Parliament decided that they would hand over the power to India more before June, earlier than June, most probably before 15th August 1947. So when the Lord Mountbatten presented his plan, both the Congress and the Muslim League ultimately accepted it. The Indian Independence Bill was passed in the British Parliament on 1st July 1947, and it also received the royal assent on 18th July 1947. So we have seen that the coming of Lord Mountbatten brought some change, even though it was a little tragic, the division of partition of India, but ultimately India got its independence. Now let us see the Indian Independence Act 1947. The nationalist leaders refused to agree to hand over 1/3 of the country to Muslim League for Pakistan. The Mountbatten plan gave concessions to the Congress and the Muslim League alike. India was divided, but maximum unity was retained. The demand of the Muslim League for Pakistan was accepted, but it would be made as small as possible to uphold the Congress stand on unity. So we can see that even though Pakistan was formed, it was but more concession or understanding or acceptance was given to the demand of Congress or India for the sake of unity. Both Congress and the Muslim League ultimately accepted the Mountbatten plan. The Indian Independence Bill was passed in the British Parliament on 1st July 1947. It received the royal assent permission on 18th July 1947. It was now decided that India would be partitioned and the two independent dominions, India and Pakistan, would be created on and from 14th and 15th August 1947. Let us see how the execution of the Mountbatten plan. The British authority now decided to work out the details of the Mountbatten plan. The minority members of the Bengal and Punjab assemblies had been given the right to meet separately and take decision. As expected, they voted for partition of Bengal and Punjab. After the plebiscite, the district of Sylhet, Assam, chose to join East Pakistan. The Boundary Commission under British lawyer Radcliffe started making the boundary lines of the two states of India and Pakistan. Now the Muslims strongly resented the laws of Gurdaspur in Punjab, Murshidabad and Nadia and as well as Calcutta in Bengal. Similarly, the Hindus and the Sikhs resented the laws of Lahore and the Canal of Colonies, Kulna and the Chittagong Hills tracts. In this way, partition of Punjab and Bengal along with India was complete. Let us see the reasons why the Congress accepted the partition. There were a number of reasons for the acceptance of this plan. One popular thesis was that the Congress leaders failed to check the temptation of power. They accepted the Mountbatten plan to get power quickly at the cost of Pakistan. Both these theses is not correct. Actually, there was a basic failure of the entire Congress organization over the years to bring the Muslim masses together. So here we are again analyzing why the Congress are ready to accept it. Even though somebody was telling that there was an interpretation that Congress was has a great temptation for power. That was totally wrong. But they are telling that's the one idea commonly accepted is that the Congress could not able to organize the complete Muslim, the whole Muslim together. By 1946, it became clear that the Muslim masses stood behind the Muslim League for the demand of Pakistan. This situation became more alarming when this cry was not restricted within the parliamentary system. They even fought on the streets through direct action call. The Congress leaders felt that the partition was a lesser evil than a civil war. The first idea they understood that Muslims could not able to come together under the mainstream of India's independence, and also all the Muslim majority of the Muslims, those who stood behind the Muslim League, were on the street for the direct action call. Therefore, the Congress leaders understood it is going to have a civil war. It was better to accept the demand or the partition than going for a civil war. They consider it will be a lesser evil. The outbreak of the Indian government due to the non-cooperation of the Muslim League ministers made the situation more critical. Second point, we can understand the breakdown of the Indian government because you have seen already the non-cooperation of the League ministers. The Indian government failed to control the organized mob violence of the Muslim League. Only immediate transfer of the power could have saved the situation. The constant interference of the Liaquat Ali Khan, the finance minister from the Muslim League, created an unhealthy situation. The Congress leaders thought it wise to accept the partition than an open war. There is always, we have seen that in the Indian government, the non-cooperation of the Muslim leaders and also the interference of the Liaquat Ali Khan, who has been a finance minister at the time, was always creating an unhealthy situation. Therefore, they decided it was wise to accept the partition. Another alternative to the Pakistan was the federation with a weak center. A smaller India with a strong central authority was better than a bigger state with a weak center. This was another concept that Congress accepted the partition. Why? To have a big state with a weak center is better to have a smaller India with a strong central authority. The Congress leaders strongly opposed the balkanization or a fragmentation or division of the country. The bitter experience of working with the League ministers, the total breakdown of the administration, widespread communal rights, Jinnah's uncompromising attitude on the issue of Pakistan, the decision of the British government to transfer the power, all these compelled the Congress leaders to agree the partition. That means in the last paragraph we can see why the Congress leaders accept the partition of India. And finally, we accept it and we got our independence on 14th August 1947. Yeah, okay, that's enough for today's class. Let us wind up. And please do the assignments that are given. Till we see for the next class, stay home, stay safe. Bye.